Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account, and as you can see, I've been farming up the Celestial Tower, guys. Now, the easiest way, honestly, to get Stargazer cards, to get a lot of diamonds, are farming these towers. Also, when it comes to the time emblems, you have to farm this up, and you have to farm this up on a regular basis. This is actually something that I do every single day, guys. You can see highest floor right here, 730. We have went up 34 floors. Now, remember, in this game mode, similar to the campaign, there are really two ways to make a lot of progression. Number one is levels. You can get a lot of levels if you're gaining levels, if you're power leveling. Your resonating crystal going to make a really big difference. Number two is building out a lot of heroes, which unfortunately, if you're not a whale, it is a lot more difficult to build out the heroes because of the sheer cost, because of the amount of heroes we have, versus go ahead and just level. Now looking here, guys, again, we finished a ton of floors in here, so we're already at 730, 717 there. You'll also notice on here, I know we've talked about this before, we have reached over 1,000. I was pushing and pushing and pushing this entire week, guys. So for all four of the factory towers, we are over floor 1,000 at this point, making, again, a lot of progression in here to farm up our emblems. You can see Celestial Sanctum right there, Brutus Citadel for 15 cards, 400 of our cores out of there, and of course, 1,000 floors in all of the towers, which yields us, again, a lot of resources in there. Also do have to go through the Misty Valley, but let's see who's on here, guys. Marco Random is here. Simon Gamer ZX is here as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Good evening, Furry. What's going on, Carol? Starting a new account 5 days ago. Who should I aim for? Stargazing. When you can stargaze. Kookie, honestly, the best way to do that right now is the twins still have a lot of utility, Mortis and also Demia. If you're starting a newer account, guys, Demia, even just having one single copy of Demia makes a big difference. When you get to the point of having the signature item unlocked for Demia, just like Mortis, works incredibly well, but Demia is a really, really strong focus in there. Those three heroes alone. Now, Halos, of course, we're seeing a little less of utility-wise when it comes to Halos, but the core support heroes are still there. With that being said, though, one of the things, Kookie, is we don't know the impact of the new heroes. So if you're a new player, if you're newer to AFK Arena, we're going to have to see what it looks like with the two new support heroes, the Celestial and the Hypogean. Like I said in the videos, guys, if you have caught some of the videos, it seems like the new Celestial is having a much bigger impact in formations than we're seeing with the new Hypo. I know that's why I threw up the poll or the survey in there. That way you could check it out and see exactly what it was looking like. But it looks like Liberta is really making the impact when it comes to that Celestial Tower. And it seems our Hypogean or our Hypogenian is not having as much of an impact as we thought within the formations. Now, if you remember, guys, if you've been playing for a little bit, we seen the exact same with Zafriel and Lucretia when Zap and Lucy came out. Zafriel was awesome. It was absolutely amazing with Zafriel. Lucretia, unfortunately, did not perform to their expectations. In turn, Lilith took Lucretia and buffed Lucy after she was released, making her super effective, which I know we've only had, I believe it was, what, Tuesday? So we've only had a couple days for the heroes to be up, but they are going to find a place. Just because of the power creep, just because of the heroes, they will find a place within formations. I can guarantee you that. There's going to be somewhere that you're going to see both of those heroes used within formations, whether it's a buffer, whether it's a debuffer, whether it's, you know, the survivability aspect, the resurrection aspect that we have from the Hypogenian. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. Lucretia should be the first start gaze. CeeLo, it's okay to start with Lucy, but a lot of other players, when you're early game, starting with Lucretia doesn't have quite the impact that you think, because she still needs other heroes kind of in formation up until the point of getting her to Mythic, getting that signature item unlocked. That is the big part that really unlocks it and starts really carrying for Lucy. And again, if you're going early for Lucy, guys, you're going to be sorely mistaken on how difficult it is to get through AFK Arena, for the simple fact that if you're getting Lucy, one, you're not going to have enough to build her. Two, you're going outside of having the other heroes available to build within the four primary factions. We need Alero and Mortis in this one. So what I mean by that is if you're looking at earlier game, a lot of the heroes, let's see where Alero is. I always forget what he looks like. And then Mortis is right here. But what I'm saying is when you look at the primary 4 factions, guys, now this is really something to think is the 4 primary factions at this point of AFK Arena are so strong. When you look at some of the builds with the newer heroes, the core 4 factions, it really takes a precedence. The only one I'd say that kind of outside of that norm would be if you had access or if you got a copy of Rem. That makes a really big difference within the formation. But again, if you look at the core heroes in the 4 primary factions, they work incredibly well, guys. You can build super, super powerful teams with the 4 primary factions without having the Celestials, the Hypogeans, or even the Dimensionals. It will work incredibly well building out those heroes, again, just based on how much utility they are carrying within those 4 primary factions. And again, if you stargaze early, you're going to realize that it is a much, much slower voyage for the account if you're stargazing early because of the strength of the 4 primary factions coupled with the wish list. I mean, you get Damon and Ivan early, that's huge. That is absolutely huge, guys. Again, if you get a combination of even 1 copy of Ivan and build up Damon, it's huge. But same with Damon as a carry. If you have Rowan, if you have Palmer, if you have Ivan, if you have any of the support heroes, makes huge. It makes a huge difference, guys, with progression. We have players that are pushing 24, 25, 26 chapters in a couple days. Making progression in here. Again, making it incredibly easy now to get through AFK Arena. It is nowhere near what AFK Arena used to be years ago. It is kind of crazy to see how fast. What's going on, Chris? First time catching you live. Thank you for joining the live stream, guys. I look forward to this every single week. What is the update drop? Monday will be the patch notes. Tuesday will be the patch itself. So we're going to see everything come up there. Tonight at 8 o'clock, I'm going to drop the video with the new event. Right now, kind of similar to the Abyssal Expedition in the hunting fields. You queue depending on the faction that you want to use. And then tonight, it is actually going to go for the battle going live. So we're going to have to check that out with the war that is happening tonight and see exactly what it's going to look like and kind of what the builds are going to look like in there. I'm super stoked, guys. It seems like it's going to be a massive event from the screenshots that I've seen from AFK Inside. It is really cool. The Celestial Hypogen is working better in the new event. New event, Carol, is not open yet tonight. We queued for it last night. If you checked out the video, we ran through a lot of the rules. There is an incredible amount of rules in there. But remember, going through, not only are you going to get a lot of resources out of the event, which is what they promised, but in addition, you are also going to get, we need Grez and Torn in here. You're also going to get through the gameplay, regular gameplay of AFK Arena. You're going to get copies of either the Celestial or the Hypogen hero. Also, you can buy a second copy if you want for that 25% discount, or I believe it's a 50% discount, but it's 25 bucks if you want a single copy of them. I know a lot of players were talking about possibly just picking up a copy, the discounted copy for the hero itself, and you do get some Stargazer cards out of there. So again, like I said earlier, if you're a light spender, some of the events like this make it super beneficial because of the cost. If you're free to play, obviously you're not going to pick up any copies. Also, we have the skin for Honesta coming on Tuesday, and we have the skin for Palmer that is coming up on Tuesday. Does Honesta plus 30 increase the damage a boss takes from the whole team or just Honesta herself? I believe it is just from Honesta. Let me look at it really quick. What do we got here? We got Wilders. Let me look at Honesta real quick. I believe it is from the team. If the number of enemies within Honesta's attack range is 2 or fewer, Honesta's attack will significantly increase the damage. That is only her. Right there, her attack will significantly increase the damage they take. I believe it is just her. I think she'd have a lot more viability within formations. She's a hero, guys, that seen a lot of play for a considerable amount of time. As of now, it seems like she has been kind of worked out of everything which is kind of sad to see that it was kind of short-lived. But it seems like now we're not even seeing her in the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, not even in the Treasure Scramble. We're not seeing her used anywhere anymore, short of that Mauler Tower. What's going on? Hi from Russia. What is going on? Bing or symbols in there. Saw a video for Ainz runs with Ivan in chapter 51. He's broken again. Yes, there's a lot with Ainz. So there's a lot with Ivan, and there's a lot with Ivan and the buffs, guys. Ivan buffs up the awakened version of Belinda. We see the buffs over on Rem. We see the buffs on so many heroes with Ivan, guys. It's not so much the hero that you're using it on, but it is how broken Ivan is, which again is kind of crazy. I'm going to hop in here. Let's just go ahead and copy this very first one. Ivan is honestly probably one of the best heroes that we've had probably in a considerable amount of time. It works very, very well. Should events have auto finish functions? Some of them, Apollonier, I feel like they should. And the reason being, and of course, this one's just going to be some RNG, but we collected our loot right there. This one, like I said, it's going to be kind of an RNG factor. Should they have the auto function? Yes. For some of the events, again, I feel like it would make a big difference. And I think even here, because he goes right to the back line, I want to see exactly where he is actually going to. So boom, so he is right here in the back, and they're literally just crushing this back line. But even there, because you can swap some of these heroes out that'll go right to the back line. So even taking out Scarlet a lot faster. And I think we might have taken someone out. Scarlet, I don't think was the primary target in there. And again, this is just, it's a lot of the RNG factor on this one. Because if we're coming over here and attacking the same target that Athalia has, that Orin has, it can work incredibly well and incredibly fast. It is the other part in here. What's going on, Trisha? I'm currently building out the Awakened version of Solus. Raphael, I'm still very, very happy with the Awakened version of Solus. I know a lot of players have said, you know, the Awakened version of Solus doesn't have a lot of utility. There's not a big driving factor on why to build Solus anymore. I still find an incredible amount of utility with Solus, guys. I still use Solus on an absolute regular basis. Within a lot of formations, I see the exact same. And you just melt all the heroes here. There we go. So the Lucretia pull or the Lucretia cheese worked incredibly well in there. Yeah, like I was saying though, Solus, I still see a ton of utility with, especially if you don't have a lot of the other heroes built out. Remember, guys, the newer heroes will have a decent utility, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean by any means that the other heroes don't have a utility, or they lost their utility, or they're not viable anymore. When you look at the amount of places and amount of times that you can sub in different heroes and formations and get very similar results. And again, if you're not, you know, a very heavy whale into AFK Arena, it's going to take time to build heroes. And it does. Even on, you know, this account, the pay to win account, I'm in my opinion, a light spender. We keep it about $100 a month. But overall, even on this one, guys, I am starting to significantly fall behind with the heroes that we have coming out on a regular basis. It's kind of crazy, but it happens. And we know it happens. It's always going to happen. Again, if you're not putting a lot into AFK Arena, it's going to, you're essentially going to be overrun at some point. What's going on, Bilal? What about the new pet? The new pet, Daniel, I am liking. I am liking the new pet. It seems like, again, the new pet is going to be used in a lot of different formations. Even the new build or the new event that is up, of course, utilizes the new pet. We see it every single time that we get a new pet. So there's going to be some utilization. And that is the big thing with the Resonating Crystal. Definitely build, and we're seeing a lot more of an impact. And I've said this for a while. We're seeing a much bigger impact when it comes to the beast builds because of the Resonating Crystal, where, you know, the level 6, the 9, getting to the 12, getting to the 15. It is very important to get those built out, because of the beasts themselves, but also the builds that we have in there are requiring the pets. So Misty Valley, there we go, guys. It is done. Hop in here, and of course, this is the reason we do the Misty Valley. I dropped Ivan in here. We want to do the engraving on there. We got 150, 100, 150, 200. I'm doing all the baits, and I've been focusing on the baits versus the red chest, guys, because again, the impact of the beasts within AFK Arena is huge. As we continue to get more beast, even when we got the fox and now we're getting the spider shroom, makes a big difference. And then we have what, 1, 2, 3, 450, some more Stargazer cards. So again, having the ability right there with our Stargazer scrolls to get the new heroes that are coming out. What's going on, JJP? Yeah, time to increase it to 200. I'm not too worried about that, Apolloneer. I'm happy with where I'm at. And what I honestly think, or what I've noticed, is when we were putting a lot more into AFK Arena, a lot of the benefit wasn't there, and it takes away the ability to go in and actually spend the time and effort to build the heroes. That's what I've really noticed, Apolloneer. That's the reason why we're not putting as much into AFK Arena. Is I want to build the heroes. I want to spend the time and effort to build the heroes. I don't want to come in here and just buy the heroes, which we could, but I don't see the value or the benefit in doing that. That's the reason why, again, we're limiting it. Budget-wise, we're limiting it. Most of what we get from YouTube is what we put back into AFK Arena, which is kind of crazy to think. But most of the super chats, the memberships, the donations, even the YouTube AdSense revenue, promotional videos we do, a lot of that goes back into either the equipment. We got a new camera, we got a new mic, upgraded a lot of the equipment here, and it also goes back into the fund for the AFK Arena pool, which is what we do right here, guys. Let's pop open all of these chests. Again, we're looking for the beast food, and I'm going to save stuff. I was thinking about doing some of the summons on here, but you know what? I'm going to save it for the simple fact that we have the new heroes coming on Tuesday, which means we might have to hop on here and do a short live stream or summons on Tuesday. That way we can continue to build them up. We can unlock them, do the summons, see exactly how far we can take the new heroes up, getting them built, guys. Look at the resources that we're getting out of here. Even it looks like another level right there on our Elder Tree. And we have 10,000 elemental cores. Remember, it's 4,500 to get to a 60, which means 9,000 for 2, giving us enough cores. And most of the heroes right now, I'm not taking any higher, or I'm not actually doing the E60 engraving. And then here, of course, it's 3,700. So we have 3 heroes that we can cover with the shards. And we want to build out Ivan. Red chest, we're going to need a lot more, guys. We need 600 to build them both to a plus 30 signature item. And then, of course, we only have 442 Stargazer scrolls. Gonna need more of those as well, guys. It's never going to stop in there. Been a while. Hope all is well. What's going on, homie? Homie Yoshi. I thought it was Yoshi. I've awakened Belinda, Solus, Thane, Brutus, Baden, and Thane built. Who should be my next choice? Honestly, Ned, at this point, you have Belinda, Solus, Thane, Brutus, Baden, and Awaken, I think that's Thane. I would wait. So guys, one of the good news or the bad news, depending on exactly who you are, is the next hero systematically going through AFK Arena should be an Awaken hero. That is right. I know a lot of you are going to cringe, and a lot of you are going to say, oh, shoot, oh, crap, whatever it may be. The next hero that we see after these double heroes that we're having right now should be the Awakened Wilder, or it is going to be the Awakened Graveborn hero. That is going to be coming down the pipeline. So we're going to have to build for that hero as well, guys. I have 140 time emblems. Again, I have been farming the towers like crazy, trying to build these up. We know, again, the Celestials and the Hypogean is coming. Then we have an Awakened hero, which is going to be one of the two, which is the reason why now, if you haven't started a hero yet, just like what Ned said, if you haven't started a hero yet at this point, I would probably wait. I would give it a couple weeks, get a couple more cards, see exactly what you're going to do, and who is going to be released. If it is a hero that is released that isn't going to have such a huge impact in AFK Arena, just double back, build the heroes based on the priority list, and going through and really developing and building those out. If it's a hero that you need to build absolute priority, you'll already have the resources there set aside to build up that hero. And again, guys, you have to farm the towers. I cannot stress this, and I know I do quite a bit, how many resources and how much time and effort comes from these towers. This is so much loot coming out of here. Even looking at the primary tower when you're getting the essence to gain the levels to push the rest of the tower and the diamonds that we have in there. And then of course, the cards that we see out of this game mode is massive. It is massive in here. Have to absolutely push through the towers. The beasts are more important than the tree. Yeah, and CeeLo, the big thing with the beasts, and I'll show you guys. So we're pushing right now, we're pushing the beast up to resonating level 18. And I always say, remember, 1 secret spice. Even though we can buy one, I save 1 secret spice right here for the new pet release. So when the spider comes up, we can get the new spider. But overall, we are pushing right now the Slumbering Seal up to level 18. I essentially want to take the Slumbering Seal all the way to 18 because of the damage factor. Then I'm taking the Rock Lizard and I'm taking the Owl up to 15. So I can actually get everybody right here up to 15. You can see we have all of the front ones to 15. We have the back 2 to still build. Now, not only that, is when you start getting higher with the Resonating Crystal, guys, and this is where the big impact comes in with the Resonating Crystal, is this is going to affect every single formation you have across a multitude of teams based on who you have built. That is really the big thing that we see with the beast, guys. Not only do they have the ability to buff an incredible amount of stats as you continue to build them up, but in addition, they have their own skills and abilities that we've seen that work incredibly well. And then you look at places like the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, Treasure Scramble, even looking at the Rift, everywhere within here, you have a ton of beasts that are being used across a multitude of game modes, which means the beasts have a bigger impact than you probably think that they have because you're using them in every single game mode. They have their own abilities and you're using them across multiple teams, which is kind of crazy. Lilith should just decrease the amount of heroes to a month instead of 2. Yeah, Peter, that would make a big difference. Either giving us a couple more resources or lowering the release schedule of it. Which of the 2 new heroes would I get if you could only get one? Right now, Trollface, I know it is very, very early, but it seems like the Celestial hero, Liberta, I believe is his name, is the one that I would look for. And again, I'm going to farm up some of this and just see so I can answer some questions through here. Let the beast run, guys. Let the formations run. These take a long time because of where we're at right now within AFK Arena. It does take a while to get through here. And a lot of players are missing some of the heroes within here. Again, it's just going to take more attempts to get this game mode done. It takes time, guys, right here. Yeah, like I was saying, with the new heroes, it seems like the new Celestial hero, Liberta, is getting a lot more play. We're seeing him in a ton of formations, which is the reason why I would go with the Celestial. Even though I like the Hypo and I love how the Hypo looks, guys, it is absolutely amazing, the design of these heroes as they are built. But again, wait for the utility aspect when you can actually get the hero. It's going to be a little bit before you can choose which one you want. So we'll make definitely a definitive factor by then of when we're going to use it. Has to be Chimera. I hope it is Chimera. Guys, I am still absolutely fingers crossed that they do Chimera. I think events in Misty Valley should have a sweep function. It would be lovely. Yes, absolutely, Apollinaire. I think a sweep function, even a sweep function, I mean, even playing AFK Journey, even playing AFK Arena, the biggest thing that I see as the time sink in this game right now is just going through and doing the Arcane Labyrinth, the Dismal Maze. It takes a long time, guys. Every single time I go in there, I cringe because I know you can go in there, but someone on your team has to finish the Dismal Maze, regardless of how the team is set up. And I can imagine when you add it or multiply it times a couple million members or a couple million players, it gets to the point where there has to be an easier way just to finish the lab, guys, or even putting the lab on the back burner, the maze on the back burner. because it does take a lot of time. Let's say if you complete it 300 times, you can just auto-complete the entire thing. For me, I can walk through it. I can breeze through it on multiple accounts. Super, super easy. There's no effort in there. There's no reason. Even when it comes to the artifacts, I believe that you can reset it. I just have them stacked. That's a game mode where they could put on the back burner just to get the rewards, just to pull the rewards out of there. And maybe you finish it 500 times and then it's auto. I mean, anything that would make it easier would be exactly the same, just making it easier to go through there. A quick question, can you check my account and tell me what I should continue or doing next, or should I just restart? Hit me up over on Discord, guys. Discord is where I can answer specific questions because I can't hop right on and check your account. There's a lot of security stuff, things of that nature. If you drop some screenshots over on my Discord or even just message me on Discord, I believe my number is 0999 Furry Hippo Gaming. You can drop it over there and see exactly what we have. And some of these formations, I will run them for a little bit of time. If it doesn't work, you can swap a different formation. Even here, you can see Trichia actually dropped out of this formation. I usually let them run for 10-15 minutes because I'm on a PC. It's not going to decimate my phone. But I let it run for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I just swap the team out. And again, just let it go. Still waiting for the Awakened Almas. You and me both, Goat. The Awakened Almas would be absolutely amazing. They're playing Mario Kart right now, which is cool to see. The rewards we're getting for a campaign are really not worth it. Yes, 100% Ned. That is something that I believe Lilith is reevaluating. They have actually reevaluated quite a few times before. There is not a big effort and there is not a big push for players to push through the campaign. Once you hit 41, players are pushing to 41 because of the Misty Valley. Once they hit 41, there is no reason to go any further, which is unfortunate because as much as I like the campaign mode is probably number one, the least rewarding. That is probably one of the absolute least rewarding parts of AFK Arena is the campaign itself. Number two, it is probably the most time intensive. When you're looking at boss teams of 5 every single time, the time that it takes to get through the campaign is incredibly, incredibly difficult, which again, I feel like they could make that easier, but the campaign is not rewarding at all. And look at that, guys. Gorvo and Tassie still getting it done, which is awesome. Which new Celestial or Hypogen am I most excited about, JJP? I like the Celestial. As much as with that being said, I love the new Hypo. I love her build. I love how she looks. Little bit concerning when I initially seen her, even when I did kind of the trials, is when you have a hero that goes right over to the enemy side. So she literally dashes right over to the enemy side. When you have that scenario, when you have that case, most of the time the survivability is not going to be there. And that's what we're seeing. Now, that is kind of a different change, JJP. When you look at a hero, again, kind of fundamentally, with the hero, when they're going over to that enemy side, do they have the mitigation or the immunity to really survive? It seems like over there she's dying, she's getting resurrected, she's dying again, she's getting resurrected, she's dying again. So even though she has that resurrection ability, it doesn't seem like she has enough of the crowd control or enough of the damage mitigation to keep her alive when she gets on that side, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. I got lucky with the Awakened Belinda summon early on 45 days played. I've had her mythic and 1 copy. You think it's a mistake doing SI30? No, absolutely not, Tank. If you have Belinda, especially if you already have her mythic, you have 1 copy, nope, take her to SI30 as soon as possible. She will literally carry you, Tank. So the only thing that Belinda needs, similar to other heroes, Belinda needs really one of 2 things. Number 1, she needs either support to amplify the damage to keep her alive, or 2, she needs crowd control so she can ult. That is really, it's going to be one or the other with Belinda. You have to protect her so she can ult. If you can get her to ult, guys, that's it. You can absolutely crush it if you can get the hero to ult, and if you can get her to ult on a regular basis. it's going to work incredibly, incredibly well. Why did they put a spoiler dialogue on Dolly if they're not going to release a new hero next patch? Not sure. And okay, they might have put the dialogue. I don't know if it might be in 2 weeks they release the Awakened Hero, which would be very, very short, especially after doing double heroes, which would be hard if they're doing 2 weeks. We still don't know if in 2 weeks we're going to get the Awakened Hero, or if because they did the double hero release, they're going to build or wait a little bit later. That is yet to be seen, guys. That is why I said with the new heroes, give it a little bit of time to see exactly what we're going to get out of here. So after Liberta, should I build Lucretia or Vithiel? Honestly, Robert, I would take a pause on that. The big thing is, guys, we can see a lot of things over on the test server, and some of the things that we do see on the test server sometimes does not equate to when it comes over, or where we see the utility when it comes to the global servers. It might be a little bit different when they get over to the global servers. That's why when a new hero comes out, guys, I say usually wait about, I mean, general rule is about 7 to 10 days after they're up on global. So at that point, we've had the ability to test them on the test server. We've had 7 to 10 days over on the global servers to see exactly where the heroes are going to fall. That's really one of the big things, guys. If you build the hero too early, I don't know why APK Pure keeps popping up every now and then. I update the things that are on there, and then it just goes right back to, hey, update it again, which is kind of weird. I'm hoping for a wilder hero inspection. Yeah, I would love to see the wilder hero. I think they might do the wilder hero next, and then save the big kind of end of the year party for the awakened version of Shemira. And again, that is what I'm personally hoping that it is going to be. Really depends on how many diamonds and stargazer cards you have. Yeah, I'm only interested in her. Can I get the animated avatar frame for $60 or less? Yeah, depends, E-King, where you're at. So if you're sitting on 100,000 diamonds, sure, you could probably get it. Usually, if you're super, super focused on a hero, normally you can get them relatively early. I might have to put Lorzen back in here. Usually you can get one hero relatively early just because of the resources we get within 60 days to get that animated avatar frame. First time joining, what's up, Uni? First time joining the live stream. Just got to thank you for all the awesome videos. You've been helping me a lot since I started AFK Arena 3 months back. Thank you, Uni. Thank you for joining me on the stream. Guys, this is something I love to do. Most of you join me every single Sunday. I think there's been a couple over the last couple years that we have actually missed. We get a lot of subscribers out of here, guys. I shoot for 5 new subs every single time that we do the live streams. Usually hit that consistently, and even have a lot more viewers on today, which is awesome to see, guys. We're almost at 150 viewers right now on the live stream, which is kind of crazy. What's going on, Sono Rez? How have you been? We've been pushing through, I believe, 50 and chapter 51. Been making a lot of progression in AFK Arena. And I love seeing you guys' little hippos. He's got the little gold hippo next to his name, which is awesome. Can I read Peter's last chat? Oh yeah, the wilder. I'm hoping, and a lot of players are still saying that story-wise, the wilder is going to be Iran. So the 5-pull Iran is what, again, a lot of players are still saying that is going to be the next Awakened Wilder. I'm still kind of on the fence because I like how Tassie's story kind of intermingles with Aziz and a couple of the other Awakened heroes. But ultimately, we're going to have to see, guys. We're going to have to see exactly what comes out of this and what heroes we get. Again, a lot of players are saying that it's going to be Iran. Also hearing a lot that are saying that it is going to be Tassie. And then, of course, guys, it would be super remiss and I would be super disappointed if it wasn't Shemira. Guys, most of you know, if you've played AFK Arena for a while, the love for Shemira is on point for just about everybody. Shemira was such a pivotal part of AFK Arena for an incredible amount of time. And even here, guys, look at Solus. Of course, if you perform with Solus, she doesn't really do much of anything. If you have Solus, the original version does absolutely nothing. What do I think of the Awakened Sophia? I might be the 3rd best Awakened right now since she's used in pretty much every mode. Yeah, and she is. And, you know, similar to what we've seen, CeeLo, with the awakened version of Sophia. We are now seeing that exact same thing with the awakened version of Solus, which again is interesting to see that we're seeing Sophia, which we knew, we figured from the beginning we would probably see the awakened version of Sophia in most of the formations, and now we are seeing her there. Thank you for the videos, FHE. Love the in-depth reviews and insight. Well, thank you, Chesley. Or Chesley? Can you show us some meta teams? I just got back from the game. Depending who you have, meta teams, honestly, when you look at meta teams, look at formations, guys. They do change a lot. They do change quite a bit. They could buff her by not capping the amount. Yeah, that's another big thing, and that's where they've made adjustments where, again, if some heroes are underperforming, and I think we're going to get it down, guys. This, like I said earlier, when it comes to these formations, Tylee is tough. This immunity, guys, look at her burning everyone down, but we got it done. This is why I said earlier to go through here and farm these stages, guys, it takes a long time. There is an incredible amount of time to go through here and finish out these stages. It really does take time. How long until the next dimensional hero? That's what people are saying, Moneymaker. That is what we've been saying, is that there's going to be another, possibly one, possibly two dimensional heroes this year. Is it going to be a crossover? I don't think so after having Rem and Amelia come over. I don't know if they're going to do another major crossover this year, but there could be another dimensional hero that's coming down the pipeline. That is just a Lilith built hero itself. It's not quite the crossover hero, but we'll have to see. Currently have 460 Time Gazer cards and have Awakened Solus. What would you do in my position? Honestly, with the cards, I would go for the Awakened version of Belinda. Now remember, Kezi, is if you're building the Awakened version of Belinda, guys, the number one priority in AFK Arena, the best hero we have in this game right now is the Awakened version of Belinda. Now, with that being said, even if you look, again, kind of big picture like we do, even if, let's say, the Awakened version of Shamira breaks, you know, the Awakened version of Shamira comes out, she's absolutely stunning. Everybody loves the Awakened version of Shamira. She decimates all of the battles. That takes the Awakened version of Belinda to number 2. That is really one of the big things, Kezi, to think about is the Awakened version of Belinda is not going away, and the Awakened version of Belinda is not going anywhere anytime soon. With the amount of damage that hero puts out, the new heroes are just going to run in conjunction with the Awakened version of Belinda because she's broke. She is still and again, in my opinion, she is still probably the strongest hero within that we see in AFK Arena. Again, there's not going to be a point she's going to be replaced. She might run in a different team than the new hero, but is she going to be replaced? Not at all. If I could get 2 copies from the new Celestial Toto, would it be better to get 2 copies of one or 1 copy of each? So yes, I would go with 1 copy of each random if you're only looking for a very, very basic copy. And the reason being, when you look at the Celestials and Hypogean heroes, guys, we'll break it down a little bit. So when you look at the Celestials and Hypogean heroes with the 2 new heroes, the 2 new heroes have a lot of utility. So the Celestials and Hypogean is different than the regular Awakened heroes because the Awakened heroes do not work without the skills and abilities, without having them built up and completely built up. The Celestials and the Hypogeans, fundamentally, even looking at Mortis and looking at the twins, fundamentally, they will work with absolutely no problem being at a base level because you'll have all the skills and abilities there. Might not have the survivability, but if there's a place where you just need the 1 single copy, I would rather have both of the heroes than just having 1 hero up to Elite Plus. Not going to make a big difference in there. I would much rather, again, have both of them available for me to use, for me to play. Because also remember, a lot of game modes, including a lot of the Fantastic Beasts, if you have 1 copy, you can use them for any of the game modes. So that's kind of the other part, is you do have a little bit of utility in there because you can use them in different places. You still enjoy the game as much. You are such a high level. Yes, absolutely. Unencumbered Mule, I love that name. AFK Arena, I've played since almost the release, guys. It's still a super fun game. And honestly, they keep the content in here so new. Again, looking back 4 years ago, guys, we had no tier gear. We just had mythic gear. We had no signature items, no furniture, no engraving. No peaks of time. I mean, the game 4 years ago, if you look back at some of the older videos we had, Asperia was empty, guys. There really wasn't much in Asperia. Mid game was about chapter 16, chapter 18. If you were 20 plus, you were starting to get a little bit towards the end game at that point. It's interesting to see again how far this game came. We have what, 130, 140 heroes at this point. This game started with 12. We had 12. There were no Celestials. There were no Hypogens. There were no dimensional heroes. This game was super, super basic when it came out. And now for what it has grown into, it's incredible. It is incredible to see what this game has grown into and what it's going to continue to grow into, guys. This game, even though, yeah, there's not, 100 million people playing it like some games, but the longevity of this game, most mobile games do not last this long. When again, you look at the shelf life of a majority of mobile games, they might see a year or two. When you start getting into multiple years, like, I mean, looking at Clash of Clans, looking at AFK Arena, looking at Raid, looking at some of the games that have kind of stood the longevity of time, it really speaks to not only the company that makes the game, which they listen to us about a lot of stuff in here, but it also speaks to the player base and how many players love this game. It's still a super, super fun game. Who should I build first, Demia or Vithio? Demia. Guys, Demia is broken. Just like what Marco said, it pains me to say Demia. If you checked out the Demia video, it's not only was Demia broken, Demia, they buffed Demia's 9 of 9 furniture, which was awesome. It works incredibly well. But again, with the buff that we've seen on Demia, it's really, really tough to not recommend her in so many game modes. She's everywhere. She is honestly absolutely everywhere. If it's Iran, that means AFK Arena would go back to the word saying no meta heroes will become woken. So interesting, Dale, because Iran is not used in meta comps anymore. He once upon a time was used in the 5-pole. Now when you look at game modes, even looking again, Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, even looking at campaign formations, I don't use the 5-pole anymore. There isn't a place that I see him really falling into a meta hero anymore. I think even when it comes to the wish list with the new Wilder heroes, a lot of players don't build him out. Iran is not a priority hero, maybe 6th, 7th within the wish list. Fundamentally, you have to have him with Scrath. He doesn't have a lot of survivability. He doesn't do a lot of damage, which is the exact same with Scrath. Use him in here, the tower, when you start getting to multiple game modes. But even when you look at single game modes, a lot of players don't run Iran in the single game modes anymore. Again, just because of the survivability piece that is here. What's going on, Pete Miller? Long time, first time. Thank you for joining us for the stream. Is the mythic gear trick still working for new players? I believe it does, Kooky, but a lot of players don't even use it. The gear doesn't have, and as we continue to get the pets, as we got the Elder Tree, as we continue to get new heroes, the gear really doesn't have an impact of what it used to, especially because you can get it out of the guild shop. You can get all the faction gear now. Used to have a really big part in their Kooky. As of now, it really doesn't have the impact that it once does on making progression. Even a lot of players, higher level players, don't even run with gear. They put on whatever's on there. And then you couple that with the gear resonance, again, has less of an impact in there, just for the simple fact that you can build everybody up together. Dimensional release is probably going to be the end of October, beginning of November. Yep, that's about right, Andrew, because I mean, we're in August now, moving into September in another couple weeks. So yeah, October, yeah, I mean, with the release schedule of a next Awaken hero coming, and then again, Dimensional hero, we'll have to see exactly what that looks like. When is Rem going to be in the store? Lelouch, that's actually usually about 5 to 6 months after Rem left the game is when they come into the garrison. So I would probably say at this point with Rem, you probably have another 2 months before you would see Rem, possibly 2, possibly 3 months before you would see Rem actually coming into the garrison shop. Now, of course, remember, the crossover heroes will not come into, I'm not sure if I reset this one. That's probably why we're just getting crushed in here. The crossover heroes will only come into the garrison shop. So that, and I know I get this question a lot. So these are the crossover heroes, guys. This is the only place you will have the ability to get crossover heroes because of the contracts that Lilith signs and stuff like that. But if you look, your Labyrinth store, you'll have a couple heroes available in here. Challenger store, you'll have a couple dimensionals in here. Those dimensionals specifically are the dimensionals that Lilith created themselves that do not have like the copyright, that don't have the crossover, that don't have all of that. That's the reason why you'll see those go to the shop. The basic regular ones will go to the shop. The rest of those will go to, and again, depending on how Lilith got the hero into AFK Arena, some of them will go into the shop themselves, and the rest of them will go to the garrison, depending on kind of how they are. Is Lucretia still the #1 priority? Joven, I would say no. I would say no. When you look at building up the heroes, the twins, Mortis, absolutely still do have a lot of utility. Putting Damia in there, exactly the same thing. Putting Damia in there makes a big difference because of the buffs that she brings. And then with the new Celestials and Hypogeans, we're going to have to see exactly where they fall. That is really one of the big things. Yeah, but the Awakened Belinda, yes. Does more damage than Ainz? Absolutely. I think you should try out Raid Shadow Legends. Funny you should say that. I got an email from Raid Shadow Legends that they wanted me to try out the game. I do sponsored videos, but I do one every month or two, guys. It's a little bump, of course, in revenue because they do the paid promotion for the videos. I don't like testing out a lot of them. Some of them I do for free. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, we've actually played a couple different games through the years. This is the only one that has stayed longevity-wise that I love playing. Again, I have played Raid. I've tried Raid out before. I feel like it was just a lot of the repeat, Peter. That is where I kind of got stuck. And of course, Silas in here. We have a whole entire team of heroes that cannot take out Silas, which is pretty funny to see. There we go, guys. 5 more cards, just like that. That is the reason I love being able to chat with you guys, but we're going to go through here and we are going to farm this. Every 5 cards that we get are making a difference when it comes to getting those. Do you think we'll ever see Ascended gear? Maybe. So Connor, we know we have the tier 4 gear. A lot of players are also saying that the tier 5 gear is already in the works, that it's already in the AFK code. So I don't know how exactly they're going to do the tier 5 gear. Personally, I love how they did the gear. If you followed any of the content that I had for AFK Journey, the gear is assigned by class instead of hero. So you level up the gear in a specific classification. For instance, we would use tank. You level up the gear independently in the tanking class, and that levels up the gear for all of your tanks instead of doing it independently. And they might add something like that in the gear resonance as we get the tier 4 gear, possibly getting the tier 5 gear. They could definitely put something like that in that would work. Should I take Rem to 35? You can, Raphael. The thing with Rem at 35, she'll work a lot better. She'll put out a lot more damage. But are you using a lot of those red chests that you could put on other heroes that need the plus 30 or that need that plus 30 signature item? And that's where, again, I don't see a huge benefit to build up the heroes past a point because of the cost of the investment. When you look at taking a hero from a plus 20 to a plus 30, it takes 300 red chests. When you look at a plus 30 to a 35 or a plus 40, I believe it is 1,050. So I can take 3 other heroes to a plus 30 signature item, which in my opinion, I find it far more beneficial to have 3 other heroes at that plus 30 signature item versus taking 1 up to a plus 40. If you're super competitive in game modes, if you're super competitive in PvP, in the Nightmare Corridor, Cursed Realm, absolutely, you're going to need them much higher. But again, at the point, I don't see the cost and the return of the investment because it is very expensive. What investment should I put on Entendre? Entendre has to have the plus 60 engraving. She is a hero that is now a little bit earlier that we're seeing a lot of utility with Entendre within, really only within the Mauler Tower. I really wouldn't put that much of an investment on her right now, Robert, just for the simple fact that she's very expensive because essentially if you don't have that plus 60, the mark doesn't heal her, which again, doesn't really work. Is Mulan still worth investing? Yes. Mulan, many king things. Mulan is still used in a lot of different places, including the Treasure Scramble. Mulan is also a sub in a lot of different places, and she's much easier to get, much cheaper to get than some of the other heroes. How important is the Awakened version? Oh, I'm gonna say, did I finish the stage again and just miss it? Let me hop in. So we're 109 here. You know what? I'm gonna try pushing this one a little bit further. And I do the same. There's a huge, between 20 billion power here, guys, and 46 billion power level. What's that? 788. That is so much higher than I am. 729, so much lower. I wish in the formations, and this is, again, a big thought that I put over to Lilith, was if you could filter this somehow. So what I mean by that is, let's say you go through a formation and you look here and you say, okay, well, I don't have the Awakened version of Belinda. If I could filter out the formation or click something here to filter out, for instance, within the Celestial Tower, I do not have Tarnos. So if I could filter out and say, don't include formations with Tarnos, game changer. Absolutely game changer with the formation. That is the next level, guys. If there are heroes that I specifically do not have built within a faction, if again, they would let me filter out the heroes that I do not have, that would be huge. That would be absolutely huge. The dimensional shapes that are in the lab store and challenger store are called, yeah, there you go. So Dale, yep, the non-limited. What's going on, Winnie? Thank you for joining us. I went AFK for a bit. So random person, when the tier 3 gear was coming out, when the tier 4 gear was coming out, it was in the code. It was farmed AFK inside, I believe was the one. But AFK 3, or the tier 3 gear, the tier 4 gear was in there for a considerable amount of time before they released the 3, before they released the 4. The gear is already in there for the tier 5. So the code, and again, data mining could always change. Things always change with this game, but they have said there is code in there for a higher level gear than the tier 4 that we see. So it's going to be interesting. What Awaken should you pull first, mainly as free-to-play or low spenders? Belinda. Yes, the Awaken version of Belinda, guys. The Awaken version of Belinda is the strongest hero in AFK Arena, period. When you look at the damage, when you look at formations, she is everywhere when it comes to the Awakened heroes. Now, a lot of the Awakened heroes like Sophia, like Solus, offer a lot of support in a bunch of different game modes, but you have to look at what heroes are the number one requirement. What heroes are the damage dealers? So when you look at the Awakened version of Athalia, when you look at Belinda, when you look at Rem, who are the damage dealers? Because essentially, and we'll go through this, guys, we have a little bit more time on the stream. But when you go through different game modes, this is really how I look at it, guys. And I want you to kind of look at it again, big picture of what you're seeing here. So looking at Wanwan, right here we have Baden. Okay, number 1, we have Belinda, 15 billion. We have Brutus doing a little. We have Amelia doing a little in there. So okay, we got a couple in there. Boom, we have a few in here. We have Oberyn in here. We have Raku in here. Rem, of course, doing a ton. Look at Demia, 4.62. And then, of course, the very last one, we have the Awakened version of Athalia. And we have Vitheo right there doing some damage. So overall, look at the heroes breakdown. So we have Baden, we have Belinda, we have Athalia. Okay, well, those are some of the top priority heroes to build within AFK Arena. Look at, okay, which ones can you borrow? And then you can also kind of reference it with looking at all different leaderboards, and even let's use Juan right there again. Who's being used? So we've seen Orin in the Nightmare Corridor. We now see Orin right here, or in the Cursed Realm. Now we see Orin in the Nightmare Corridor. Here we see Crescio, and then you see Thane, Belinda. Okay, there's Belinda overlap right there. Athalia, there's Athalia overlap. There's Demia again. And then looking here, you see Rem. Okay, so looking there, and like I said, then you hop over to something like the Treasure Scramble. You start seeing the pattern, and we ended at 95, which is awesome, guys. We actually got some free, a lot of free loot out of here within the leaderboard. But again, you look at the leaderboard, do the exact same, guys. Break it down. So who are we seeing within these formations? We have Rem in there. We see Amelia in there. We see Matria's in there. But you see Athalia's in there. You see Belinda's in there. What heroes are you seeing across a multitude of game modes? And then also remember, which heroes can you borrow? Within those game modes, short of the Treasure Scramble, you only need to have one single copy. So for instance, if I don't have Belinda and I can borrow from Philippe, big shout out to Philippe building out the Awakened version of Belinda. But if I can borrow the hero versus building the hero, use the copy, guys. Even here, like with Baden, if I can borrow the hero from Lumi, borrow the hero, guys. That is one that you do not have to build if you can get the hero. That fills the role within multiple game modes. And again, Treasure Scramble, you cannot use them, but you're looking at the Twisted Realm, the Cursed Realm, and the Nightmare Corridor. For what heroes do you have? What heroes can you borrow? Which heroes can you hold off on building? Which we find the same even with like Demia. A lot of heroes like that. Willow Lord, big shout out to Willow Lord. If I can borrow those heroes, borrow the heroes, guys. It's huge. Is Joan of Arc good? Yes, absolutely, guys. Joan of Arc is awesome. Lucilla or Liberta. Right now, it's a little too early. Personally, I like how Liberta is working. The Celestial does and is working incredibly well. How am I doing in the Twisted Realm? Right here, and I stay 10 to 20. Right here, Cursed Realm, we're at 12. Nightmare Corridor, we're 8.9. Treasure Scramble, we were at, 95. So Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, I usually stay Nightmare Corridor 10% or less is where I'm usually at Alfredas. And then Cursed Realm, I'm usually 10 to 20. Now I have started building, and again, looking here at what Wanwan is showing, I have started building up some of these heroes a little bit higher because again, from me, it is the competitive part of the game that I need to stay up on. So even I built out, right here, I built out Ivan a little bit higher. I built out Belinda up to 67. Building the heroes out systematically just a little bit higher can make a big difference in the performance that you're seeing out of those heroes just based on the build. It's a really, really build. There are no new formations, just tweak. Yeah, and that's it. And the other thing, when we talk about formations, guys, when you look at here, you also have to think which heroes are you playing and which heroes, like right here's Trisha's formation, which heroes do you have built and who are you swapping out for and who can you swap out for? So essentially, if you don't have, let's say in here, you don't have Naruko built or you don't have Matria built, who can you swap out those heroes for and make it work systematically within these game modes with little to no difference, honestly. There's a lot of game modes where you have an absolute multitude of different formations you can run in here just based on who you built, on who you have built. You have to really focus. And again, I focus on, guys, I have a list right down here. I focus on one of the four regular 4 faction heroes, 1 Celestial or Hypogean, and 1 Awakened hero at a time. Right now, I'm building out Ivan. We know that is the build that I'm doing right now. So all of my resources that I'm saving is for Ivan on the 4 primary factions. For the Celestials and Hypogeans, I am waiting, of course, for the new ones. And then on the Dimensionals, I don't have anyone right now. But the Awakened hero, because we already have Sophia, we are waiting for a new one. I have them all built short of Aziz up to a 30960. So again, we are literally just waiting for the next Awakened hero to drop to build, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly who it was. Should I build Demia instead of Lucretia? Getting one copy of Daemia will work incredibly well. Lucretia, you're going to have up to Mythic for the signature item. How do you feel about Awakened Athalia versus Sophia? Both of those, Nate, you're going to have built. They kind of fall in the same tier. Sophia fills the support role for some more damage dealers. Athalia, if you don't have that Awakened version of Athalia, you're going to be missing some damage in there. You are going to be missing some damage if you don't have her or if you can't borrow her. But again, Nate, look at who you can borrow and see what is going to make, what is going to be the difference. What is the hero that you're going to have to use to really make a difference? With newer heroes that are so powerful and meta changes so fast, what PvP mode do you recommend low spenders to focus on, even within the cursed realm? I can't keep up. Well, the thing is, with the PvP aspect, so think of AFK Arena free-to-play life. I'm not sure if he's on here today, but he runs incredibly free-to-play. Same with Javid. Javid is free-to-play in their entirety. You're never going to stay up with the meta. That is the big thing, guys, where when you look at the guides that we put out from Cursed Friends, there are going to be a lot of heroes that still do remain in a lot of formations for an incredible amount of time. If you want to stay up with the meta, you're going to have to put a ton of money into AFK Arena. If you're a light spender, if you're a free-to-play player, you're just going to think, and I know, again, AFK Arena free-to-play stays in about the top 20%, usually, sometimes even getting into that top 10%. Even getting into the top 100, again, based on the heroes that you're building, don't underestimate, and Thorn gets it done, guys. Don't underestimate the 4 primary factions. Don't feel like you need to have all of the Celestials, the Hypogeans, that you have to have all of those Awakened heroes. There are a lot of formations that work incredibly well without them in a lot of different game modes, guys. And again, I'm not going to be the top 1% in AFK Arena because I'm not putting in the money that the top 1% puts into AFK Arena. And I know that. You have to be okay with it because it is never going to be there. Does Naruko need the plus 30? Voids, I would say yes. So Naruko, they did buff her plus 30, which makes a big difference when it comes to Nadia. So this plus 30 was buffed. Now, if you want your team to really maximize the damage, guys, this is huge. The defense reduction up here, 10% stacks to 5 times for 8 seconds. This is huge. The plus 30. Is it a priority up front? Not really. To really, though, get the effectiveness of this hero, yes, you are going to, you're going to have to build this up because this is a massive, massive damage reduction for teams that is going to have a big impact. Even looking here, for instance, with Trista's formation, we have Naruko in here, is going to offer a defense reduction, which means heroes like Torn, which are, looking at the level deficiency, we're almost 300 level deficiency. It is going to allow Rem to actually crush damage in here because of the defensive reduction that we're getting here. And we have Daemia to buff the attack rating. Amelia in here for the crowd control and the energy regeneration. Then, of course, Matria brings the SP effect in here, which is going to give the 25% bonus and also the proficiency in here. So the synergy of this team, especially looking with little Naruko, makes a big difference, guys. And all of these heroes are about Rem. This is about maximizing Rem. This is about getting Rem to ult because Rem is going to be the primary damage dealer within the formation. My level you can get by just because all of the heroes that I have in here are built out quite a bit. But again, Rem is what you're looking to ult in this formation to make it incredibly and work incredibly well. Because usually you have one hero that deals an incredible amount of damage. The rest of them are either 1 support or 2 crowd control for the hero. And even having Daemia built out makes a big difference, guys, because of the nature of the hero. What's going on? Ablumevis? That's a rough pronunciation, but yeah. How far can I progress with only legendary heroes? Igor, it just takes time. Depending where you're at, there will be a cap where the legendary heroes don't have a lot of effectiveness, but you're not going to see the effectiveness. You're going to have to. I started a new free-to-play account. Should I focus only on the basic 4? Yes. If you do the basic 4, you will do well until you get to the point where the Celestial, Hypogeans, and Dims are kind of required. But again, with the amount of heroes that we have in the primary 4 factions, you will do incredibly well as a free-to-play player, and they work they work well. They do work very well. When you get to the point in, I always stress this, guys, when you get to the point of farming cards in the tower, and Daliler, when you get to the point of farming cards in the tower, use the cards you get out of the towers to build up the Celestial and Hypogeans. That's exactly what they're going to be for. That is the way it was designed. Now, of course, with a lot of different game modes, you're going to see a lot of different ways and a lot of different places that you can get a lot of cards. You can get time emblems, you can get Stargazer scrolls. There is a lot of stuff that you can get within the game that works incredibly well, and you get it much, much earlier than we ever did before. And again, it's interesting to see how fast you can make progression in this game. I mean, we have had people, get the trial version of Rem and push through 30 chapters in a couple days. So again, it's kind of crazy. Just realize you don't use a pet in your Thorn formation. Yes, that is kind of the thought. Random is not using the pet within the Thorn cheese. The problem is the Thorn cheese is a super, super fickle formation, guys. I cannot stress it enough if you're running it in here. Sometimes we run Thorn with the pet, and I don't know, right there's Thorn with no pet. Sometimes if you're going to run a pet in here, most players just run this pet. Because again, as your pet starts getting into higher levels, the stats just get super amplified with the pets, which is the reason why, again, most players do not run a pet in here at all, is the stats get amplified to the point where Thorin gets too strong and he's not taking enough damage, or the pet is throwing off things, guys, with crowd control. There's a lot of different things where they can kind of throw off what the pet does within the formations. Now, should I put the SI first on Ivan and Amelia? Now, Ivan, I do love with the plus 30 signature item. This is pretty good, but you only get energy on the puppet. Now, with Amelia, you do get energy for the formation. So honestly, I would put right here, I would do Amelia first for the instance that Amelia is going to give that 100 energy points to your entire team. Ivan is only giving it to the puppet. That is really it. Yeah, pets add some defense, Marco, until you get the pets leveled up to, where I'm at, let's say level 15 plus. Now they add a ton. The stat amplification for the pets gets much, much higher as you continue your progression. As the pets get higher level, they do, and their effectiveness goes up exponentially, not only for the stats that they add, but also for the abilities they add. I want to say that you're the best channel for the game, straightforward with information, really well explained. Thank you for what you're doing. Oh, thank you, Call. Yeah, guys, I love AFK Arena. And again, being able to hop on here, being able to do the live streams with you every week, I look forward to it. It's awesome to see. I love being able to talk to people about AFK Arena. Everyone in my life outside of you guys doesn't play video games. I'm really the only gamer, even in my neighborhood. I play a lot, well, honestly, probably 2 video games on a regular basis. But being able to talk to you guys about the game, I love having the conversations. When Twins update, when? I don't know, Mr. Anderson. We might never see an update on the Twins. But let me hop over before I forget, guys. We'll do the gifting of our membership like we do every single week. Let me hop over. Give it just a week. So anyone that is in the live stream right now is eligible for the gifting of the membership, and it goes out randomly. I cannot choose who this membership is going to. I just pop it over here and it pops up usually in the alerts within Streamlabs. Hopefully if it's working, but it will pop up there in just a minute. 51-8, guys. We're slowly working our way through chapter 51, which is awesome. And congratulations to Voids for the membership. There it is, the brand new membership for the channel. And I love doing that every week. It's a way to give back for players that join us in the live streams. It's really cool to see too, with the little hippos right there. It is awesome. So what's the basic 4? The basic 4 is the primary 4 factions. So you have the Lightbearers, the Maulers, the Wilders, and the Graveborns. So that kind of excludes the Celestials, the Hypogeans, and the Dimensionals. But also with that, kind of excludes the Awakened Heroes as well. I know the Awakened Heroes are going to come with time, and I know they're primary for factions, but overall, it's going to be a lot of time before you get to the point of building up those Awakened Heroes. And again, the cost of the Awakened Heroes is incredibly high. Most players will get 1, 2, possibly even 3 copies of the Awakened Heroes just out of straight summons, long before you get to the point of summoning them yourself. I got my Lucretia to Ascended. Very happy. Keep it up. Good work. Yeah, Lucretia is big, guys. And Lutter, thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. That is 1 subscriber. And again, kind of crazy, but awesome to see that we have 150 plus viewers over here on the live stream, guys. It is very, very cool to see. Thorin Cheese, of course, one of the, if not the most fickle formation between the Thorin Cheese and the Charizard team. It is really 2 of the most difficult formations in campaigns to get through. How many cards are needed for 0 to Ascended and Awakened? Idris, it's usually about 400 plus. So general rule, we got the Awakened version of Brutus. We got, I believe, the Awakened version of Solus. I believe both of those was around 400 cards, which is generally roughly, Idris, is about the amount. Now, with that being said, when we did the Awakened version of Thane, it took 700 plus cards. The Awakened version of Thane, both on my Lightbearer account and on the YouTube account, the Awakened version of Thane was the most difficult hero that I've ever pulled and the most expensive hero that I've ever pulled within AFK Arena. I don't know if they'd made it a little bit earlier or a little bit easier, but generally what I would like to see is with some of the Awakened Heroes, so kind of the first version of the Awakened Heroes, I feel like they just need to give us discounted summons for them. So if players are still looking to build Brutus, to build Baden, to build a couple of the older Awakened Heroes, I would love to see discounted summons, like even if they gave us a 20% off discount, a 50% off discount, whatever it may be, guys. I would love to see the discounted for the older Awakened Heroes, because I feel like a lot of players could get them earlier and they still do have a little bit of utility. I mean, we have 2 more in our 2nd year of Awakened Heroes are done, guys. So that is it. We have the Wilder and we have the Greyborn coming soon, which again will be the 2nd full year of the Awakened Heroes. Really love your content. Don't ever stop posting about AFK Arena. I'm playing not that long. Well, thank you, Fox. Yeah, I love AFK Arena, guys. I told you, when we started this journey with YouTube and all of you guys came along with me, we had 1 subscriber, 10 subscribers, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Now we're over 34,000 subscribers, which is just absolutely kind of crazy. But the game gets there. I love creating the content. It's something that, you know, I set aside time. I love doing. It is really cool. Probably need about 700 time tickets to Ascend and Awaken Hero. Yeah, if you're looking to do the 1-star on there, yes. Does Thorin need the 9 of 9 for the cheese? It will work just with the plus 30 retro, but the 9 of 9 helps. The 9 of 9 helps, of course, with the energy regeneration. Eventually, you want to get him to the 9 of 9, but there's not a big race. Even if you get him to the 3 of 9 furniture, he will work incredibly well. But again, I think getting to the point, you want to get him to the 309. Don't engrave him, guys. Just like I have here, do not engrave Thorin. It is not worth it at all. Yeah, I know, Marco. And even then, if they could give us some of the rebated tickets, if they could do anything of that nature, it would be awesome. I'm free to play and I love the content. Help me progress. Well, thank you, guys. Who should I build firstly, Alna or Lucretia? Honestly, Nicola, out of those 2, Lucretia. The big reason is, guys, Lucretia works fundamentally by herself. Just need the signature item. The hero works, again, fundamentally by herself. Alna does require the 9 of 9 furniture, and Alna is in support of other heroes, so Lucretia will do it independently. Is Liberta or Lucilla better independently? I like Liberta. Liam, Liberta is the one that I am looking to build that I'm most excited about. Absolutely want to build that hero out. Yeah, exactly, guys. The Thorin cheese. And there we go. Boom. Thorin gets it done. I think Trisha just got it done through the comment up there, and it worked. It worked incredibly, incredibly well. And look at Grez, guys. 162 billion right there from Grez. Boom, 173 from Scarlet, doing a ton of damage in there. 97, even 55 from Demia. This one, of course, 160 from Baden. And then we have our Thorn Cheese working 185, just like that. Incredibly, incredibly cool to see. We're going to continue making progression. Like I said, Tuesday, I want to hop on. I'm probably going to do a live stream on Tuesday is what I'm thinking. And Lumi and Felipe are on here. I'm probably going to do a summoning stream over on here on Tuesday night. That way we can check it out. What's going on, ZZ? Looks like he's tired. I don't have Demia. Should I build her instead of saving for the new hero? I would, for the simple fact, Chris, that we know Demia works. We know Demia is already into every formation. We know Demia has a lot of utility. Even with the new heroes, are you going to replace Demia in formations? No. Just like we said with the Awakened version of Belinda, is Belinda going to be absolutely replaced in formations, even if a new hero like the Awakened version of Shamira comes out? No, absolutely not. She's going to move to a different formation. We're still going to have a lot of utility for these heroes because of the build. Should you build Awakened Sophia or wait? Honestly, it's up to you. Again, with the Awakened version of Sophia, we know her utility. She's being used in a lot of different places, Augusto. Is the new hero going to have the same? Probably. You could wait a week or two. If you're already sitting on the cards, wait a week or two, see what the new Awakened hero is going to look like when it comes out. If there's not a lot of utility with the new hero, you can build up the Awakened version of Sophia super easy and then go ahead and just build them out. Who would I say is second to damage to Belinda? Second to Belinda would either be Rem. Guys, Rem does an incredible amount of damage, or the Awakened version of Athalia. The Awakened version of Athalia, she does not only an incredible amount of damage as a hero, but her SP effect is super, super effective in the damage amplification for other heroes. That is one of the big reasons, guys. Not only does she do a lot of damage, she helps a lot with this SP effect on other heroes, which is awesome. Demia or Alna free to play? I would go Demia. I would go Demia in that situation, guys, because again, the utility that we see within the hero works incredibly well. So we almost got enough essence for another level. And again, all of these summons, guys, I am going to save till Tuesday so we can build them up. And then, of course, Tuesday is just going to be mass stargazing. 447 cards. We have 122,000 diamonds in there for the new heroes to pick up some of the new heroes. And I'm going to continue farming. I'm going to continue going through the King's Tower. I'm going to continue farming cards out of here, guys, like we always have. In addition, I need more red chests. We need a lot more to build the heroes that we do have coming. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for our Sunday stream. We're a little bit over on this one. Got one or two more questions in here. I have a character ascended 1 star. I happen to get another copy. Should I just get another star? Honestly, I wouldn't try to get another copy. I would just wait random till you get another copy. The big thing with adding stars, guys, is it's very minimal for what you get by adding other stars on there if you get a copy. I would much rather have the multitude of heroes versus having heroes at stars. Now, when I say this, guys, that is the reason why I don't have Guineas built up on stars. I don't have right here Naruko built up on stars. I don't have Trishia built up on stars. I don't have Ivan built up on stars. Once I get them to that Awakened version, I will get them to 1 stars eventually. Like we just got the copy today of Ivan. I will get them up to 1 star. But once they go to 1 star, there is no reason to take them any higher because you'll get them eventually. Even looking random summons, we got Tamarisk built up. All of these heroes, guys, again, I don't build them past that 1 star point on purpose. I will get more copies out of summons. I'll get them out of events, whatever it may be. There's not a reason to really focus and build them up much higher than that single star because the return is not there versus having other heroes. If you're like me and you're at the point where, hey, you know, we have literally 2 heroes that we have to build. The rest of these are fodder. Here we have 4, the rest are fodder. 2 to build here, 2 to build here. Again, all of my fodder heroes are in there. I'm eventually going to get them out of the wish list. That's one of the big things. Is Scarlet or Lucretia better when you hit 2 teams? When you hit 2 teams, Lucy works, guys. Lucretia will be your second team, period. Lamoth, that is really the big thing. Is Scarlet needs support, Scarlet needs crowd control, Scarlet needs to live to ult. Lucretia wants her team to die. You can even go in here with Lucretia and you can put in one hero, and a lot of players do, guys, is a lot of teams, once you get Lucretia built up, is you'll see this with literally all level 1 heroes around Lucretia. Of course, my combat rating is not high enough, but Lucretia will be your second team. She will get the boost when all of these other heroes die, and you want all of the other heroes die, or they'll do this, guys, to even get the levels. So base, I mean, we have elite right here. Just getting some of the absolute base heroes in here, and you want your heroes to die. Lucretia, again, will be your second team by itself, and she'll work incredibly well. I know that stars are important, but I happen to get 2 more copies for stones. Yes, if you have them random, yes, add them. Don't use them as fodder. And guys, this is my general preference, is I do not use any hero that I do not have at 5 stars as fodder. Once you get a hero to 5 stars random, absolutely 100% go ahead and use every single copy as fodder. That's what I do. If the hero is not at 5 stars, so any of these heroes, if they're not at 5 stars, I never use the fodder. I always use the fodder only if they're at 5 stars. And again, a lot of players play it a different way, but I do not use any copies if the hero is not at 5 stars. 5 stars are the only way that I recycle them, and I don't think I have any in here right now. I've been using them as recycle food. But again, if I get another copy of Edwin, of course, build more stars on there. Does Lucretia require furniture? Not required, but the better you build her, the higher you build her, better she performs. Furniture is going to help her out a ton. Again, just based on stats, based on abilities, fundamentally the plus 30, she will work incredibly well. You'll get to the point where you need more damage. That is where the furniture does come in. So, all right, guys, again, that'll do it for our Sunday stream. Thank you guys for joining me. I love doing the streams. Definitely have some more coming out, including the war that is going to continue going on today. So again, that'll do it for today's live stream. Have a good weekend, guys. I will talk to you soon. And as always, thank you guys for watching.